Before DWC, I was a holistic practitioner, and I'd been already pursuing vocational certifications over classic education whenever I could. I really liked the concept of getting skills over degrees. Skills are versatile. So during the pandemic and the shutdowns, when I was no longer able to see clients, I decided to take my business in a different direction. And one of those things was learning about UX design and graphic design. And DWC was a great place to do that. And I was getting those degrees in conjunction with a couple of classic degrees through a community college. And DWC was able to greatly help with that. They added a lot to the education that I was getting in my pursuit of a degree that was skill-based, and I greatly appreciated that. Well, in my prior career, when I was no longer able to see clients in person, I needed to find a way to bring the same information to them, and knowing the attention span of most humans at this point, I needed to find something that was more digestible, and I saw that in graphic design and animation and ways to give people life-saving information in a more digestible manner. So combining my love for graphic design and animation and bringing things to people in a visually stimulated way, I recognize UX design as a way to make things available and usable, and really a great way to really understand my clients. Well, one of the reasons that I chose DWC as my school of choice was it was available online. The reviews on it were great. I actually found it through the county in which I lived. And so all the reviews for your school, for DWC, were positive, and I didn't see any negatives at all to it. Being delivered online by quality professionals who are in the industry is much different than going to a school and having somebody who's never really worked in the industry bring you their knowledge based on a degree that they got. I hate to call it a no-brainer because it was a very intelligent program, but I enjoyed it greatly, and lots of reasons to continue to go there.
Yeah.
I have 2 vocational degrees so far, and looking forward to coming back. Every class that I took at DWC and every instructor that I had was beyond my expectations, beyond the qualifications that I expected. 2 instructors stood out to me. Brian, who's in charge of the UX design program, not only brought his personal knowledge and experience every day, but he was in the process of improving the program every day as well. So every time we came to class, he'd give us updated materials that he'd put in his time on, and it's made it a high quality program. Both him and Jake were both open to questions, whatever I came up with, and they answered them patiently and gave me a great amount of value. And in Jake's case, he brought his experience with graphic design to every class in Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, and Adobe Photoshop. Gave us real-world examples and gave us real-world projects to help refine those skills. He was demanding, but not in an unreasonable way, in a way that got me to become a better designer. So I appreciated those 2 instructors very much. I would say that every class that I took had some impact on the way that I work today. For my capstone project in UX design, one of the things that I'd been pursuing for some time was an application for people in my prior industry, and still kind of my current industry. But one of the things that is very important to being able to help somebody with a problem or condition is visual diagnostics. And even though we're not diagnosing disease, by looking at somebody, I can kind of see what they may need. So I developed a user interface which allowed people or practitioners to get visual data from their clientele. So that was something that I'd envisioned for quite some time, and building even a small mock-up of it for my capstone was incredible. Well, Today's workforce has changed substantially over the past, couple of years to 5 years to 10 years. And what I see is that there's a greater focus on empathy towards clientele and usability of any product. I mean, it's great to have a niche population who really needs what you have and can use what you have, but if you can enhance that usability to kind of broaden your prospects, very, very important. Accessibility has become a huge thing. Speaking of underserved populations, if they can't access what you have to offer, they're not being helped, especially if you have a diverse business proposition. So, just understanding the principles of UX design goes a little bit above and beyond the process of designing a single user interface or fixing one set of branding materials. It's just the concept of how do you better help people, how do you better empathize with people. And so it's definitely broadened my horizons in ways that I never expected. Right now, I'm very diversified. Currently, I'm working on two of my own businesses. So I teach Tai Chi and I teach Qigong, and I interlace more modern martial arts into that. My clientele is almost exclusively United States veterans at this point. And one of the ways that these two vocational degrees have been helpful to me is I'm able to do research on the fly and figure out what it is that's benefiting my population, either population, and what maybe they don't need, so I could better design my programs accordingly. The materials that I put out for these programs are top-notch. I don't think that I would be in the place that I am now without these experiences. Not necessarily the degrees, but the experiences of learning from people in the field. In today's world, being online is necessary. Although I miss some of the interaction with people, the ability for me to get my work done in my own home at real time during class is unmatched. Having a space that's free of distraction, having what feels like a personal connection to the instructor, even though there's other students in the class, it's invaluable. I mean, the ability to learn from home is something that I hope never goes away, and I hope it just gets better and better with time. The skills that I learned in the UX design program specifically, I use almost on a daily basis. I work in XD, I'm learning more about Figma. I use the UX design model in everything from designing my programs that I deliver to my clients to the way that I communicate with others. Finding out what makes my ability to bring an idea to somebody else more accessible, more usable, having more empathy for them. It's an invaluable skill set, and I greatly appreciate it. They give you the skills to get right out there into the workforce. And whether you use that particular skill set to go into that particular field or you put that on your resume and make yourself a more valuable hire, I think those two benefits are invaluable and irreplaceable. I would encourage anybody, if they're on the fence about getting an education from DWC, you ought to know that it's achievable, it's attainable, you could do it from your own home, and it's immediately usable. The value is immediate. There's no waiting period. You don't have to go out and get the skills after you've got the skills. If you get a college degree, you have to then get the skills, and you have to have the experience. You get them both right here in one package. I would highly suggest that you utilize that capstone project and gear it towards the field that you want to enter. The ability to get instructor feedback on an actual real-world application of the skills is not something that you're likely to get anywhere else. Utilizing the skills that you've learned over the past 16 weeks to gear yourself towards the career of your choice, it's a great opportunity.